Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video we're doing the final vid of our Bottle Spot weekend where we're going to be using a Cetitan Hail team. If you guys enjoy this content and you want to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe for more. There will be a rental code down below hosted by my good pal Randy. It'll be up until he decides to take it down. So if you guys want to use that or the link to the team, both will be down below. But in case you want to get a quick team builder guide to figure out how to use it, here's the vid. So first up, we do have Dragapult. This is a Life Orb Dragapult in this team with the Terastal Ghost. Basically, the point of Dragapult here is to utilize Will-O-Wisp to handle physical threats a bit better. Mons such as Garchomp and other physical mons such as that. I mean, I don't know why I can only list Garchomp, but basically any sort of physical attacker that's not a fire type or immune to status should be affected by Will-O-Wisp, which should be pretty good at just weakening damage output. With Terrablast Ghost, we should honestly be completely able to destroy opponents with this. Dragon Darts is great for redirection because it'll be able to target around fairies. However, it'll also be able to still either be a spread move, or if my opponent, let's say, switches into a fairy, they go for protect, whatever, we can single target that way. So it's a really deadly dragon stab in tandem with Dragapult's Terastal Ghost that should be able to completely massacre teams. Next up, we do have Grimmsnarl with the Covert Cloak. This should be able to ignore secondary effects, which is great so we don't get fake outed. It does allow us a free Parting Shot, Taunt, or Fake Out on opponents, or just Spirit Break, which should be great for opposing dragons, or just as a main primary attack that this Pokemon will have. Really, Grimmsnarl's job is just to be a support piece here and to enable other Pokemon on the team. Next up, we do have Amoonguss with the Rocky Helmet. With the Rocky Helmet, this is honestly really good to potentially pressure different fake out users or just any sort of contact mons in the tier to make them take a bit more damage from Amoonguss, of course. With Spore, we're able to put a lot of different Pokemon to sleep, but with Giga Drain, it's really useful for opposing water types, and it's a great primary stab. Rage Powder is great for redirection. This does enable Pokemon such as Dragapult to be a bit more menacing, as well as our Hail Core later on, which I'll get into that in a bit. But Clear Smog is the big one here. This does help with one of the worst matchups versus Cetitan Hail, being Dozogiri. And with Clear Smog, we're able to completely clear any sort of Dondozo's boosts, and we should be able to make sure that Dondozo doesn't actually get out of hand this way. It should also make it so that Amoonguss can take it out a bit easier, or even Abomasnow potentially, so I'm honestly pretty okay with Amoonguss here. Next up, we do have Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash is a great support piece here. This should be designed to take out other fire types that might pressure Cetitan Hail, as well as it's just great for a lot of other Rotom forms, since typically we've either seen Rotom Wash that's Terra Fire, which is designed to Terra Fire to get around Amoonguss, or you've seen Rotom Heats, which are getting around Amoonguss, and Rotom Wash is great for those sort of matchups as well. It's great to handle grounds, it's great to handle, as basically any bad Cetitan matchup, Rotom Wash is great to handle that. With the Helping Hand as well, we should be able to boost the Titan's damage output, which should be really useful. Will-O-Wisp, again, just to burn opponents to make them do less to Titan, since it's a pseudo-bulky Pokemon, but with Veil as well as the burns and even the snow, this should be an incredible Phys-Def tank. Next up, we have Abomasnow with the Focus Sash. Focus Sash Abomasnow is really good here to try and make sure that we're taking hits, even just a single hit, to try and guarantee the Aurora Veil stays up, which should be really beneficial. Despite only having 5 turns of Aurora Veil, it's enough in VGC to really get by, and with options like Protect and, well, Protect should be able to get around opponents, especially going for Fake Out to break our Sash, as well as Energy Ball and Blizzard, which are great offensive options here. Abomasnow ends up proving to be a really good support piece for Cetitan on this team. Finally, though, we do have the Mon of the Hour Cetitan with the Assault Vest here. We're a Terastal Rock set, which should be designed to handle other fire types. However, there might be some matchups where we can't necessarily go for the Terastal Rock. Maybe if there's a game where Dragapult has a really good Terra matchup, so that's why we do still have Rotom as a backup option for fire types potentially. But with Terra Rock, that should honestly be a really great offensive piece for Terra Blast. Not only this, but with Ice Spinner, we're able to clear terrain, which is really useful actually this gen. While Quark Drive Mons aren't necessarily in the game yet, or at least not for the VGC metagame, it's still really useful for Psy Spam cores that feature Armor Rouge plus the Indeedee, so we can get around the terrain at the very least with that. And with Ice Shard, it's a great priority option around opponents, especially dragons and grounds that are plaguing the tier. With Superpower, it's great for the Steel matchups, which otherwise would walk this sort of set. And yeah, honestly, Cetitan's just a really great piece, and I feel like we have a lot of great options here. While I don't necessarily understand the EV spread that Randy put on here potentially, I know that Randy is a smart enough builder to where he probably had these calcs in mind to take some sort of special or physical attacks. And I mean, the 108 speed at the very least with Cetitan, I'm pretty certain, if nothing else, that this is mostly just designed to outpace other sort of weather options that would plague the tier. Or actually, no, this looks like it's a Dragapult speed creep, because this would hit 214, so then you don't need to necessarily rely on Ice Shard, which could be pretty beneficial, especially because Dragapult could potentially Terastal into a Ghost typing and be neutral for Ice Shard, so that's probably why you actually had the speed in here at the very least. But I'm not really sure what the attack, the defense, or the speed effort for. They're probably just take hits under Veil or with the snow up potentially better. But regardless though, that's going to be the team here, and let's get right to the battle. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, we're here today using the team that was built by my good pal Randy, and he had a Cetitan Hail team, which funny enough, our first match of the day, we're also playing another Cetitan Hail team. So we're fighting Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Goldango, and then there's Cetitan, Abomasnow, and Garganacl. My guess is that, as long as it looks like it has like three different options, and they're all like different cores. Like it's like Goldango, Garganacl just as the other core, with the Hail core and the Dozogiri core. So it's very interesting. But weirdly enough, I think that our Cetitan actually matches up very well against everything here. Besides, of course, Goldango, Garganacl, which luckily I have other options for. As far as my lead goes, I'm definitely not leading with these two. I'm actually going to lead off with, I think I'm going to lead off with Grimmsnarl for sure. I think Grim should be pretty decent, and I'm going to lead off with Amoonguss as well. Because I'm predicting they're going to lead off with Dozogiri, or if not Dozogiri, then Garganacl and Goldango. So in either case scenario there, I should actually be pretty fine. I can't really actually see a world where my opponent would really be able to do a lot against this lead. So good luck and fun to my opponent regardless though. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm hoping we can start off the day 1-0 again, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, we've started off all these 1-0, and we only have like one loss in general. So they do it off with Garganacl and Goldango here. Good to know. So as far as my lead goes, I'm definitely going to be clicking Taunt on the Garganacl, and I'm definitely going to be clicking Giga Drain on the Garganacl as well. I want to try and take this Mullen out as quickly as possible. Goldango truthfully doesn't actually threaten my team that much, albeit it's a little bit annoying, but it's not something I would say that I'm inherently just completely afraid of, especially if it ends up being Terastal. If it's Terastal, it's probably the best case for me. Because it's either getting rid of the immunity to just, well, it's either getting rid of the ghost typing, which is great, or it's getting rid of the steel typing, which means that it's weak to Cetitan. So we're going to get this taunt off on Garganacl. That way that it can't get up any sort of iron defenses or anything like that. Can't really let this thing just keep setting up. My opponent's going to go for Gleam on Goldango. That's honestly fine. I don't mind this a lot, truthfully. Even with the crit, that's not really a big deal, despite dual critting, which is kind of funny. But I don't really mind, because Grimmsnarl going down here after getting the taunt off might actually be a good thing for me. Because all I really care about is just getting off this damage on Garganacl, which we do a fair bit, so I'll take that. I'm going to bring in Abomasnow here for sure. I think it's probably my best play. Because Abomasnow, truthfully, just going for the Aurora Veil should help a ton with getting Cetitan in general enabled for this match. And after I go for the Aurora Veil, I should be pretty fine to just start going for Energy Ball from there. So I'm going to go for the Aurora Veil here, and I'm going to go for another Giga Drain on Garganacl. Again, don't really need to damage Goldango yet. I think that I should be fine against this Mon. I'm kind of hoping that I can bait my opponent into Terastalizing. However, if they're not Terastal Steel, I can't really see it happening. Regardless, I'm going to guess that my opponent has, I mean, they probably have Dozogiri in the back. I can't imagine that they brought Cetitan unless they're like another Cetitan type that gets around, specifically Cetitans. So unless there's something like rock or fighting, I can't imagine that they actually brought it. Which if they're fighting, that kind of screws me, but otherwise it should be fine. As we can see though, with the Aurora Veil up, we're absolutely chewing any sort of hits that we're getting dealt, thankfully. And because my opponent did not go for recover this turn, I should actually be able to pick off my opponent's Garganacl with Abomasnow here, which is great. So I'm going to go for the Giga Drain here, and I'm going to go for another Giga Drain on Goldango here, because there's no real reason to Rage Powder. It's been clicking Gleam this whole time. And even if my opponent opts to click Make It Rain here, I'm perfectly fine still just going for the Giga Drain on Goldango. Albeit, maybe I should attack Garganacl, I guess, but they're going to go for a cover at that point anyway, so me going for a Giga Drain wouldn't make a huge difference if they ended up going for this. So they're actually going to switch out here, and they're going to bring in, let's see, what are they going to bring in this turn? They're going to bring in Tatsugiri. Okay, so this is fine, actually. Tatsugiri should still be neutral to Energy Ball, and albeit I kind of wish that I dual targeted now, but it's not really a big deal. We're still going to get off plenty of damage. What I can actually do, I can go for the dual target now into the Tatsugiri spot, which should be pretty good. Actually, what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go for a Protect here on Abomasnow, and I'm going to go for the Giga Drain on the Tatsugiri. I do have Amoonguss with Clear Smog, thankfully, specifically for this core, so that's the big reason I actually brought Amoonguss to this matchup, is because it's such a great way of shutting down Tatsugiri Dondozo. And even with my opponent preserving Garganacl in the back, it should be pretty easy to take out later on in my opinion, so I'm not overly concerned with this. I think that my biggest threat in this matchup truthfully is going to be Goldengo. I can't really see, knowing that these are the 4 that came, I can't really see anything else being that threatening here. So my opponent's going to withdraw Tatsugiri at this point, and they're going to bring, I think it's back, that's back in Garganacl? No, they're bringing in Dondozo. Do they not know how the core works? I think they don't know how the core works, which is, I'm pretty okay with actually. Especially because the fact that they brought in their Dondozo here, which means that I get a pretty free Giga Drain off on it before my opponent even actually gets to do anything. So I will certainly take this because it's over half that we got to deal just now. And I mean, to be fair, that was a crit, but even still, even if we did half, I think we could have dual targeted next turn, which was my plan anyway, to dual target Dondozo. And we should be able to take it out plenty easily. And so I will take that. So from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the Energy Ball, and I'm going to go for the Giga Drain. And if my opponent, again, if my opponent gleams with Goldengo, that's fine. They're going to go for Protect here, so be it. This doesn't really concern me, actually. What they'll probably do is they're probably going to go for Gleam, which I don't really care about a ton. With the AV, I should chew Goldengo hits very easily with Cetitan. So I'm not even concerned in that regard. But Goldengo will be a little bit annoying to take out. However, we do still have Terastal, which should be at least better. Though I guess I probably wouldn't Terastal, to be fair, because I think that realistically my best case would be just staying in with Cetitan as an Ice type. So I guess then the question is, do I Terastal my Amoonguss? Which I don't know if I really need to do that either. I think keeping it as a grass type is probably in my best interest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the Ice Spinner on Goldengo, and I'm going to go for the Giga Drain on Dondozo. If my opponent brings in Tatsugiri, I'm okay with this. I don't really mind because I should be able to get enough damage off on Dondozo anyway, to where on the following turn, I can probably just go for a Terra Blast at that point and take out the Dondozo. So I'm perfectly okay with this. They are going to withdraw Goldengo here, and they're going to bring in the, I think it's the Tatsugiri. That is the Tatsugiri. Okay, so this is perfectly fine. Despite my opponent getting up all their boosts with Commander, it's not really a huge concern, because all I really need to do is just go for Giga Drain, and between that and Ice Spinner, well, at the very least Ice Spinner on the following turn, or even just Superpower potentially. Oh, they're going to Terra. I wonder what Terra type they are. Are they Terra Dragon or Terra Water? Because they're Terra Water, oh no, they're Terra Steel. Oh, because the Terra Steel is very bad for me actually. Because if they went for Terra Blast on my Cetitan, that could be actually really game-changing here. So they went for Earthquake instead. I'm perfectly okay with this. Earthquake shouldn't do enough damage to really do anything to me. I will say it's a little bit annoying because I can't actually Clear Smog this because of the fact that it's a Steel type, which does present a bit of issues, but it's not a huge concern. We also lose a bit of our defense boost, and on top of that as well, we're going to be doing even more to our defenses anyway. So that's not going to be great. But what I can do here, I'm actually going to opt for this turn to go for another Ice Spinner. Actually, I'm going to go for it on the Dondozo spot just for damage. And I'm going to go for the Spore here. Because I do at least want to make sure I'm not dropping my defenses any more than I need to before I get off this attack on Dondozo. So I want to put this thing to sleep, and then I can go for Superpower, and then go for another Superpower. And I think that's kind of my best way of beating a spawn. It's going to go for a Protect. That's honestly fine. I'm still going to be able to get off enough damage, I think, especially with Superpowers. I just can't really be dropping my defense this turn is all. And especially with Earthquake, I can't really be making myself weaker to that either. So we're going to go for the Ice Spinner into Spore combo again. I think it's my best play. Because when my opponent is put to sleep, I should be able to break this mon much easier. For now, though, I do kind of need to play into this. Thankfully, though, my opponent will be stuck with Tatsugiri on the field 100%, which should be pretty good once I've taken out Dondozo. So after that, I really just need to worry about Goldengo at that point, which Goldengo will be a little annoying, but it's not going to be a huge deal. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, that's pretty bad, actually. I didn't realize that I would be underpacing this now, but I guess, to be fair, with the +2 speed and the fact that I don't have Hail up. Ooh, this might be pretty bad, actually. Okay, so I think what I need to do, I need to Superpower this. I'm starting to realize I probably should have brought Rotom. But it is what it is. I'm going to go for Superpower, though. Thankfully, I'm still slower, so I should actually still be fine to make this play. If my opponent takes this with, if my opponent ends up taking this hit, I might be a bit screwed. Thankfully, though, I'm able to get up to superpower beforehand, and that should be enough. I can't imagine this wouldn't break my opponent's sub, but if it doesn't, then we're screwed. Okay, thank God. We broke the substitute here, which is great. From here, I should, despite the attack drop, I should still be able to take this out in like 2 superpowers. I will say I'm a little bit concerned with taking out Dondozo, but I think if we could take this mon out, we're pretty set. They'll be at about, I want to say like 30-ish% after these leftovers, so I just need to make sure that I could do around 30-ish% here, which I think I could do between both these Pokemon. We're going to go for the Giga Drain and Superpower combination. It should be enough, in my opinion, to take this out. I can't see a world if we don't. They're trying to protect, which is honestly fine by me. And then Superpower is going to go off. How much does this do? That does not do enough. Okay. So I'm going to need to hope that Giga Drain does enough to where I can take this thing off with another Superpower, which it definitely looks like it will, even after leftovers. The issue being is, truthfully, I think if this thing wakes up on the next turn, I think I lose the game. But we're going to kind of have to see. It's not looking great even still, but if I take out Dondozo, I can Ice Shard Tatsugiri in the following turn, and I think at least that alone will be enough. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky for sure. Dondozo thankfully does stay asleep another turn, which is great. I probably could have also Spored Tatsugiri. That might have also been a good play, but maybe getting off the damage. Actually, getting off the damage into Ice Shard should still be fine. Because I think an Amoonguss can potentially take on Garganacl Gholdengo on its own. Actually, I don't know if I can. And that's a bit concerning. We'll have to see. What I can do, though, for certain, I should be the fastest Pokemon on the field unless if Gholdengo comes out next. So what I can do, actually, and even still, even if Gholdengo comes out, I should be fine with the Assault Vest to take hits a bit better from that. So, let's see, is Garganacl going to come in? Gholdengo comes in, okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go for Ice Spinner on Gholdengo, and I'm going to go for Giga Drain on the Tatsugiri. I should still be fine to take these hits. I'm a little bit concerned with just taking out Gholdengo now, because I can't status it. I don't really have a super effective way of taking this out. This might be game. Rainy and I were talking beforehand about Terra Water, and I'm kind of wishing I had Terra Water in this set. I think that would have been amazing. Ice Spinner's going to go off, and we actually do outpace Gholdengo, which is kind of shocking, but we don't do enough damage for that to matter. And then Make It Rain, that should take out both these Pokemon. Okay, so it basically puts me in a situation where I guarantee lose. So it's a little unfortunate for game 1, but you know what? Honestly, it is what it is. I think if nothing else, this was 100% a loss that was on my own merit. I should have 100% brought Rotom. I think I probably should have brought Dragapult too. I think if I specifically led Rotom Pult, I would have been in a position where I could have basically guaranteed the win. Because Rotom could have just Hydro Pumped the Garganacl spot, and Dragapult could have Terra Ghosted, and I could have just massacred Gholdengo. That team also wouldn't have really had great switch-ins either, so I'm not really sure why I didn't just lead off with that. But again, is what it is. It's all about, obviously, learning experience, and I think it's 100% one of those games where I could have just played it better. But no worries, no worries. You know what? On to game 2. We're going to definitely win a couple more games here, so I'm not too concerned anyway. But a very good game to Kokon at the very least. With that said, let's get into the second match. So moving on to game number 2, we have a very interesting team comp at the very least. We're taking on Dragonite, Florges, Toedscruel, Annihilate, Skeledirge, and then Oranguru. So this is very interesting at the very least. I know for a fact that Toedscruel and Oranguru both could be Trick Room setters for this team, which could be interesting with Skelly, especially if that's an offensive Terra type. I know that Annihilate is probably going to be some sort of Terra type to take advantage of. Well, I guess, why wouldn't they have ran that with Mousehold? I feel like that would have been the easy way to boost Rage Fist, but regardless, neither here nor there. Dragonite's probably some sort of weakness policy set, and then it's probably going to Terra after that and have Florges Symbiosis some sort of item on, but I'm not really too sure. Maybe I'm overthinking that. Regardless, I think that my lead here definitively. My opponent doesn't really have a great check to Ghost in 10, well, like outside of Oranguru, so I'm going to definitely lead with Pult. I think it should be pretty decent. I'm going to also go with, I think I'm going to go with Grimmsnarl on lead because I should be able to stop the Trick Room options. I'm going to throw on Abomasnow and Cetitan in the back because my opponent's team is fairly weak to Hail, especially with the one Hail check I'm seeing being a Skeledirge, which if it doesn't end up being the Terastal option here, I can Terra Rock and just completely massacre that anyway with Terra Blast. So yeah, I feel pretty confident in this one. I think game 2 is definitely going to be ours, but we'll have to see. Good luck, have fun to my opponent though. And let's see what they lead. So my opponent's going to end up leading with Annihilate or Guru. Okay, good to know. So they are definitely going for the Trick Room route here. I'm 100% going to go for the Terra Ghost on... Well, no, I'm not going to go for... I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on Annihilate, and I'm going to go for the Taunt on Oranguru. I want to stop this thing from being any sort of a valuable support piece here, and I would much rather burn Annihilate first and potentially save my Terra type before I scout through what my opponent has. So we'll have to see. Are they Mental Herb Oranguru? They're not Mental Herb. Okay, final Gambit on the Annihilate. I'll honestly take that trade, because all I needed to do was stop my opponent from going for Trick Room. So if they're getting rid of Annihilate here, so be it. I will take my Grim going down, because I really just needed it for that exchange. My opponent's going to take the Will-O-Wisp now, which I'm also pretty okay with. I think it was a Scarf Annihilate then, which is good to note actually. That means they're probably not a Scarf for another Mon, though I don't think it really anything else is a valuable Scarf for here. Oranguru is not taunted though, which is great. It can't even get up it doesn't even have like a mental herb to stop around that. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go into Abomasnow and I'm going to set up an Aurora Veil. My opponent's going to go into Skeledirge here. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to go for Dragon Darts as well as Aurora Veil this turn, and I'm going to let Abomasnow go down because honestly, I just want to bring in Cetitan easier. If my opponent targets Dragapult instead, so be it. But at this point, my game plan is definitely just go for Dragon Darts and Aurora Veil. My opponent would basically also have to dual target me. I'd outpace my Abomasnow with both Pokemon on a Trick Room team to make sure that I can't get up the Veil, which should be pretty good for me. Which they can't even do anyway because they're swapping out, but good to note regardless. Their last mon is Florges, that means no Dragonite and no Toedscool. Dragonite is really good for me considering the fact that they lost their priority option here, which is great. And no Toedscool is great because it means no Sporemon, and that was also a potential Trick Room setter that I had to worry about. There's Skeleterra Fire, which means that I still am 100% going to go for the Terastal on the Cetitan, so I don't even really need to worry about scouting either. Thankfully, Dragon Darts also does Smart Target, which is great for this sort of scenario because it means that I don't really have to worry here. My opponent will go for Torch Song on the Abomasnow most likely, which I'm perfectly okay with because I am Focus Sash, so they can't even stop my Veil at this point either. Which should also be very helpful for the Dragapult, because all I really need to do here is continue getting off damage on Skelly. They seem to be Throat Spray, which is good to note. And this is the exchange they were going for, actually. So they're probably leftovers, which is good to know. We're going to go for... So I'm going to go for Dragon Darts again on the Skeledirge. And I'm going to go for a Blizzard here on Abomasnow. I'm kind of hoping they take me out, truthfully. But if they don't for some reason, I could just get off some extra damage. Dragon Darts should put this thing... This should maybe KO, actually. We just barely... This thing barely lives on a sliver. Very unfortunate, because I kind of hoped that I would take this out. Florges is going to go for Pollen Puff here. That's fine. It doesn't really matter a ton, to be honest, but I guess that's why the Florges came. Abomasnow avoids. Are you kidding me? I kind of hoped that that would end up dying. But honestly, not a huge deal. I can actually probably take out Skelly here. Let's see. So we know that Skeledirge has Torch Song and also Heat Wave. And I think that Florges was Life Orb because it looked like it took damage. So I can also probably just take out Skelly here. And I could probably just go for a Blizzard again and take out Florges here. I really hope that they take out one of these mons, because I could bring in Cetitan and honestly clean the rest of the team from here. Because their team doesn't really actually break Cetitan at all once the Skelly's gone, and even still, I could just Terra Rock and get around that pretty easily. So, basically, one of these, Cetitan, actually, Skeledirge should guarantee die here. Best thing my opponent could do to preserve that would be to swap into Oranguru, and then Cetitan should maul from here. I actually think I guarantee win off Cetitan, which is great. That's really great for me. Kind of shocked this team got to rank 7, because I know Randy was saying that this team wasn't great. So I'm kind of just shocked that this strat's working this well for them. Thankfully, though, despite the burn, Skeledirge is officially gone, which is really good for me again. If my opponent went for Pollen Puff, that should hopefully take out one of my Pokemon. I just hope that they, again, take out something. I don't care what. Dragapult's going to lose some HP, perfectly fine. Moonblast is going to go off, and something comes in. Beautiful. Okay. So Cetitan should guarantee win this game. There's not an option that my opponent can really do here to get around that. Even if my opponent gets up a Trick Room at this point, I'm actually still fine because the Titan's just so bulky with the Assault Vest plus Aurora Veil combination that I'm not really too concerned. For the sake of, I don't think I even need to go for Terra Rock, truthfully. It's just not going to matter now that we're gone. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go for Ice Spinner on the Florges. And I'm going to go for the Terra Ice. And I'm going to go for that just to try and boost my damage a bit against Oranguru. And I think that's probably in my best interest because I don't really need to actually change into a rock type. It doesn't offer me anything, actually. And truthfully, I think it would lose out a little bit, I guess. I mean, Snow only boosts Fizz Def, so it doesn't even really make a difference. It really makes no difference on Cetitan, but it makes a bit of a difference, I guess, in Abomasnow if we do live this turn. Which might happen, to be fair, because I'm pretty sure I could just nail Floor just with Ice Spinner. So, if Oranguru ends up being slower... Oh, we don't end up nailing it. Unfortunate. Well, it is what it is. I don't mind Abomasnow going down, truthfully, because I can Ice Shard KO the Floor just next turn, so the support piece is gone. And then from there, I just Ice Spinner on the Abomasnow and just take that on the Oranguru and just take that mon out. So it should just basically be a 1v1. Albeit, I do need to take the first hit from Oranguru, but I'm not too concerned. I'm a lot stronger of an offensive piece. They're taking passive damage anyway, which I won't have to. I think I'm pretty okay with this. We'll Ice Shard in the Florges for now and just completely take out Florges. They can't Terastal around this. At best, they can protect around it, I guess, which again, I don't really mind. Because all it would do is stall a turn where I need to take like one more attack from Oranguru with my Assault Vest and Aurora Veil. So I'm pretty okay with this. Store Power is going to go off. Does Jack. Okay. So I think I've basically guaranteed the win here. Since my opponent's truthfully relying off of Stored Power to damage me, I can't see a world where this will actually matter. Even with the Assault Vest gone, I should still do a ton of damage to Oranguru to where they can't actually do anything around me. Their Psych Up also doesn't matter because I have no actual stat changes here. It's a cool tech for sure. I think especially in tandem with something like Skeledirge, this could have actually been really destructive against my team. However, because Skeledirge is gone, they really can't actually do anything. And Cetitan should honestly just win the game. There's nothing they could really actually do to stop this. Stored Power is going to do another like 6 damage. Actually, it does like 10 damage now. Perfectly fine again. They're just going to cripple. From here, I'm just going to Ice Shard just for sake of saving turns. Never mind, they're Berry. So I'm not going to go for Ice Shard because I'm just going to go for Ice Spinner. But one more Ice Spinner should take them out. And again, they do like no damage. I do want to point out though, even if they were clicking Psychic, I think I still won this exchange. At worst case scenario, maybe they took like one more hit from this turn and then I just Ice Shard them to pick them off. But I did guarantee win that. So we'll take this for sure. Nice 1-1 for the day. We're going to go for one more match before we end off here. And I'm going to hope for another win at this point. But we'll see you guys in the next battle. And we're here with our final game of the day, where my opponent's actually bringing a very interesting team comp. They have the Psy Spam with Indeedee and Armarouge, which we've played a few times actually in the previous vids. We see Palafin, Umbreon, Tinkaton, and Tyranitar. Very curious what the Tyranitar's deal is here, but we'll have to see. Regardless, I think my opponent's definitely going to be leading off with Armarouge and Indeedee, or maybe Indeedee Palafin. Either one would make a lot of sense here. I'm definitely going to be leading off with, let's see, so I mean, if my opponent leads off with Indeedee, Grimmsnarl's kind of a wasted lead. I think that I'm definitely going to lead off with, I'm going to lead off with Rotom, and I kind of lead off with Rotom Dragapult here. I think Rotom Dragapult could be interesting because I could Will-O-Wisp Palafin if it leads, or I could even just go for Terra Ghost on Dragapult. I'm going to bring Abomasnow and Cetitan in the back. My goal here is basically to try and hope that my opponent doesn't bring Tyranitar, because if my opponent does bring Tyranitar, that is a little annoying for my Sand. Though, maybe their Tyranitar with a nerf, to be fair. It could be decent at getting around potential berries. So, we'll have to see what my opponent ends up doing. I think definitively, though, the Palafin and Indeedee is the lead, and they're going to bring Armarouge as the third. And I could see Tinkaton, just as a good Cetitan resist. But again, they're going to actually lead off with Armarouge and Palafin. Okay. So, it's still honestly fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt, just in the off chance this is Focus Sash. And I'm going to go for the Terastal Ghost into the Armarouge. I don't really care about burning Palafin. Truthfully, it's probably Scarfed, and they're going to flip turn out before I can even burn it anyway. And I'd much rather, honestly, just take out the Armarouge, which is probably going to be their team's breaker of choice. Because this could honestly be a really good way for my opponent to get around my Hail Core. Assuming that they bench the Tyranitar, that is. That could be a really good way. They are flip turning. They're going to be weak armor, weakness policying. That's very interesting, actually. And that could screw me over a ton, truthfully. Especially having lost my tracking typing. That could maybe be a big deal. We'll have to see, though. This combination is honestly so annoying. We do know it's Choice Scarf at the very least. So they're also going to boost their stats themselves with this play, which should be very bad. Their Psychic Surge, which makes a lot of sense. They're also Weakness Policy Armor Rouge. This might actually just KO both my mons. Yeah, that KOs both my mons. This might be a wash, I'll be honest. Oh, this is a terrible way to end off the day. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know if I could actually beat that, I'll be honest. Because I popped the Terra on pull, thinking that I'd be fine for this. But I forgot that they could just be Scarf and Weak Armor Weakness Policy. That could be very bad for me, actually. Because I no longer have Terastal, which means I can't actually get around Armor Rouge anymore with Cetitan. Truthfully, my best play is kind of hoping that Ice Spinner somehow ends up taking this mon out. Because with the fact that this thing is defense dropped, I might be able to bullshit and take this mon out. But it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. If we somehow manage to get around Armor Rouge, I think it is still winnable if Tyranitar does not come. If Tyranitar's the 4th mon, they objectively just switch into Tyranitar and go for Expanding Force, and then they auto-win. That would be like a very free auto-win for my opponent. Well, actually, maybe it's not. We are AV, and I know it's like this is still obviously Weakness Policy boosted and Terrain boosted, but it's also spread. So that might end up actually being the factor that wins it for us, assuming that they're not Terastal Psychic. If they're Terastal Psychic, though, maybe we get lucky and outpace, depending on, I guess, how fast they are. We're going to kind of have to see. We're going to kind of have to see. Expanding Force is going to go off. That might just be enough to take us out, truthfully. We barely take this. I will definitely take that. Though, at the same time, I think Palafin cleans us anyway. Because all they actually need to do... Never mind. We don't even need to worry about Palafin taking us. Because they're gonna win the game from here. Weirdness disappeared. Thankfully, we get rid of their terrain. And I can shard them next turn. So I can take out the Armor Rouge at least, which is good. So I'm going to take out Armor Rouge, and I'm going to go for the Blizzard. Again, I don't really think that's going to be enough. But I at least want to Clawback Diff. I want to Clawback Differential. I still think I can at least kill the Armor Rouge here with Ice Shard, which should be really good if nothing else. And if not, I mean, Armor Rouge just wins. They're going to withdraw Indeedee. Please bring in... What are you going to bring in? Tyranitar comes in. Okay, so that honestly just wins the game from here. We can't even really do anything about that. Holy shit. So at least we clawed a diff, but we lose both our mons to sand damage. Good play by my opponent. That's definitely a very defeating loss to say the least. But you know what? Honestly, sometimes these games happen. I won't complain. We're 1-2. This tier's honestly gonna be a lot harder to play through, especially with my lack of intense doubles knowledge. But you know what? 1-2 for the day. I'm not too concerned with that. In the next VGC vid on Tuesday, we're gonna try and get out of Great Ball. One of these days we'll have to do it, and I think the Tuesday might be the day where we can at least get into Great Ball 9. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. We'll be on the win streak again next vid. Until then, shouts to our channel members being Zeke0, Josh K Ultra Player, and Mia. If you want to support the channel monetarily, join buttons down below, as well as Twitter and Discord for updates and future content. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow, where we'll be showcasing another singles team. Until then, peace out, guys.